Hello, welcome to Trust Your Glitter. We are here for May 14th through the 21st. This is a huge, 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 huge week in astrology. Just remember, this is the week to take out the highlighter and remind yourself you've been waiting for this week the whole year. Huge, huge week. We've had eclipses, huge eclipses. This is a big year in astrology, one of the biggest years, in my humble opinion. We've had big years in astrology. We've had great conjunctions. We've had Saturn, Uranus squares. But this week, I just want to let you know, we've got one of those weeks where it's miracles being manifested. This is where you can have that, hey, you've been torn between this inner war, this inner fight, this inner battle. If you think back to that eclipse on the 20th of April, you could have been sitting with a decision. You could have had your life swang one way. This is that week where you're like, it's time to do the thing. This is the week where it's time to do the thing. I'm going to talk about the astrology because it's huge. It's huge. And for a lot of people, I'm going to go with what I said last week. Embrace your creativity. Your creativity gets you through. And this is a lot of looking at finances, feminism, luxury, because we've got a lot of planets in Taurus this is a Venusian sign. This is about taking back your inner power. This is about embracing your inner gifts. And this is huge. So today is Sunday, the 14th. And even from last week, I talked about how Mercury goes direct. Happy Mother's Day to those who celebrate, and lots of love if this is a tough day for a lot of people. I'm going to put this out a day early just to kind of have some information as we go into the week. That's how big this week is. Mercury goes direct 11:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is at 5 degrees of Taurus. And just to note, Jupiter enters Taurus this week on the 16th. We have something in the sky this week. It is basically going to influence us from the 16th of May all the way through the 23rd of May. But it doesn't mean that it's just this week that the influence of this energy takes place, because what transpires, look, I'm trying, these videos are part of it. What transpires from this week is we are taking our power back in some way. So I want to talk about that. We have something called a fixed grand cross in the sky, and that will be triggered by A, Jupiter entering Taurus, and B, Mars entering the sign of Leo, as we also have Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and the North Node in the sign of Taurus, and the South Node in the sign of Scorpio. So it's a fixed grand cross, which means there's both oppositions and squares, creating almost like this perfect 90-degree triangle or square in the sky. So I want to talk about that with our new moon on the 19th as well. So let me show you. Hopefully this works. Yay. Hopefully it shows up on the recording. We have our new moon in the sign of Taurus. Our new moon is at 28 degrees of Taurus. If you can see the pointer, the sun and the moon are at 28 degrees based upon the time of 11:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just to note, this is going to be triggering New York City's natal chart, because New York City is a sun conjunct Venus in the sign of Taurus. So just to note that as well. Uranus is close by at 19 degrees of Taurus, and this is taking place for this particular chart time in the 10th house. So our new moon, which is abundance, new things coming in the sign of abundance and self-respect, self-worth, what we value, our physical possessions, is in the sign of the 10th house, which is letting us know, what is it that your life purpose needs to expand as Jupiter enters Taurus to add more personal value into your life. North Node in Taurus. We also have Mercury in the sign of Taurus, sextile to Saturn. So this is also about career and life purpose. This is a huge, huge week about career and life purpose. This is about value, respect towards yourself, and are other people valuing you, respecting you, appreciating you? Are you taking good care of your body? Are you eating good food? Do you have access to what you love? Do you feel good in your own energy? This is a huge question of this week. So let me go down a chart. I hope this shows up angle-wise on here, but here is the chart for the next day, the 20th, the day after the new moon. And this is when you can see, hopefully, if you look over at the 12th house, Mars has entered the sign of Leo, making this fixed grand cross with Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius, the North Node at 3 degrees Taurus, Jupiter at 0 degrees Taurus, and the South Node at 3 degrees Taurus. With Mercury nearby, I would call it a loose stellium. And this is a really, really big thing. We've got a lot of energy in the sky here. And with that, we've got a lot to, I don't know how to change the view on here. I hit a button and I'm just going to go with it. So hopefully this is still recording. Hopefully this is still recording for me. And I will pull some cards on this. I just want to talk about how big this eclipse is. Oh my God. This is the second time I have tried to record this. I'm so in my head on being perfect right now. This is not an eclipse. This is a big fixed grand cross. I have tried, this is my second time. I am such a perfectionist that it's so hard to be on camera. And let me tell you, value, self-worth, all this stuff. So when we talk about value and self-worth, mine is about being on camera, and my camera just expanded 1,000 times. So all I can see is everything that I don't want to see right now. So I'm really, really going to push through this. So this is for me in real time, trying to also see that I have value being on camera. I'm in my childhood room, and I'm in a moment of my life as a stand-up comedian where I am reassessing my values, because I realized the other day, being in my childhood room, I'm surrounded by horse show ribbons and trophies and things that would have been considered you're of value, right? You're a good girl. Like, you're such a good hard worker, right? And that goes for even in stand-up comedy, because right now stand-up comics are going through, you're only as much of value as your last stand-up 15-second, 30-second stand-up comedy clip. And as a comedian who's also an astrologer, yes, I'm aware of the transits, but it doesn't mean I don't live the life of somebody who is extremely sensitive, who has taken a long time to figure out whether or not that's even of value, So for me, I am on a journey of personal finding value. Do I even have value, in the comedy community? Does my voice have value in the astrology community? So it's learning all of these things and being extremely real in both worlds. And right now, as a stand-up comic, I've had to kind of be like, I have to simplify everything. If that means coming back to my home state of Maryland, even though everybody's doing their own thing, and do astrology and, do what I need to do to find what value is for me, again, that's part of what my fixed grand cross experience is. And I'm from a millennial generation. My North Node's in Taurus, my South Node is in Scorpio, and I was raised by the baby boomer generation, who are all going through, most of them, a square. So a lot of baby boomers are actually getting their north node in Aquarius and their south node in Leo squared by the north node in Taurus and the south node in Scorpio. So there was like literally this rocking back and forth energy of generational trauma going on for a lot of people. And then there's also people, if you were born in like 2013, there's little ones going through their nodal reversals right now, or previous generations. So there's a lot of generational wounds, generational karma, generational trauma being settled right now on all different scales. So, I was looking at these horse show ribbons as an example of like, I was told you're of value for what grades you have, what kind of job you have, whether now then, apps on your phone tell you how old you look, all these things where it's like, wow, like every single day there's these compounding outside factors. And what the north and south node between Taurus and Scorpio, and now that we've have a new moon in the sign of Taurus, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, we're going to watch value shift. And that means the financial markets. That means what actually finances become. And these are really big changes for everybody. Even me. Well, I have allergies and my voice is like shaking through this, but I'm going to keep on going because I know that at some point this will add value to something somewhere. So hopefully. So I'm going to do some cards related to this because on the 21st, we're entering Gemini season. So we've got a huge week, and a lot of astrology articles are going to say there is a Pluto square. Well, death is out on the table. Let's see who's Pluto square to Jupiter. When you hear that, just know that that is the fixed grand cross energy as well, because this is a big, 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 big aspect in the sky. I'm just going to do some more cards. So we have death. I do think this is related to Pluto. We've got the page. We've got the page of swords. Swing that sword, say that thing. This is about asking for that raise. This is about writing that email. This is about saying the thing that you need to ask for, say somebody's not treating you right, letting them know. Like, this is that week. This is the week of manifestation. Ace of Swords is in reverse. This has been a card since that eclipse in Aries, total solar eclipse energy brought us that Ace of Swords. So Queen of Cups. We do have some trines from before Mars enters the sign of Leo this week. Mars will be trine Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So we've got a nice little trine there, very creative, about self-compassion. Also, we have some sextiles between Saturn and Mercury, Saturn being in Pisces, sextile to Mercury in the sign of Taurus. This one just wants to sit here, so 10 of Swords. I do get repeat cards. I think this 10 of Swords is about the year. I really do. I think this is a 10 of Swords year, even though it's like, so say the major arcana is the Chariot. I think it's helping, what's helping that card is the 10 of Swords. And this one wants to come out, 8 of Swords, getting out of your own darn way. And this is psychologically. So let me I have all these aspects written for the week, but I really want to just get into the deep, deep stuff that I wrote today, because I wanted to do a meditation today about the fixed grand cross. And I kind of went through each planet. So if we think of a cross, so we can have a cardinal cross, a mutable cross, a fixed cross. In this particular case, all planets are at similar degrees in their, so we have fixed signs being Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So I personally felt the hanged man, quote unquote, the hanged unicorn in my particular deck was a card that I felt very called to in order to express the energy of the fixed Grand Cross. And other cards may be Temperance, but with Temperance, you need a little bit more water in the sky. And there's not a ton of watery energy well, we have Saturn, we have the South Node, and Mars. We top the week out with that. But when I look at the fixed Grand Cross itself, I don't see the water moving between cups. I more see the water being held in one place like a swamp, like the Scorpio South Node that we're holding. So Temperance could be a card to work with, but I really strongly feel to talk about the Hanged Man just being this energy of almost like being between a rock and a hard place, but at the same time really having to push through a decision, really having to push through if somebody's tested your boundaries, really setting the boundary, really saying, this is the thing that I need to say. This is the thing I need to demand for myself and ask for myself as well. And I also do feel with the cross in the sky that the Wheel of Fortune and the World card are really good cards that also represent these energies as well. Also calling in the 4 directions from the north, the south, the east to the west, and also working with all 4 elements, air, earth, water, and fire as Mars moves into the sign of Leo. And also just saying, the ether that I feel that is involved with this is actually an earthy ether with having that new moon manifestation through the sign of Taurus. So it's more this Mother Earth loving Gaia energy where it's almost extremely symbolic that Mercury goes direct in the sign of Taurus on Mother's Day. And then we have this fixed Grand Cross. It's a very mothering element, self-nurture, childhood wounds, childhood trauma, things like that, where you're really kind of working with lifting that up and out. So I was talking about with Jupiter, I would say a key word with Jupiter entering Taurus is grace, granting yourself the grace to appreciate your own personal spiritual evolution, revolution, since Uranus is in Taurus in this transit. Spiritual downloads, abundance, and flow. And I want to talk about the fact that there are going to be financial shifts. There could be market shifts. We could see more of these bank changes, financial. I want to say agribusiness because that's the best way to just watching what the world of agriculture brings for us. Pluto being in Aquarius, there's an interplay through the retrograde. So we have Pluto in retrograde who will be going back into Capricorn. But the interplay is we have the download, the realization that it is about the collective. So there is a collective element as well. This is going to show up in a larger look towards what is society doing? What is society up to? This is a huge societal transformer in general. So I wrote canals and levee systems because in this particular case, it's almost like a lock and water, lock and movement, lock and flow type energy, pop lock energy. And then when Mars enters Leo, this is like lighting that match, saying, hey, we can open up this dynamic in this cardinal cross here. But there's a lot of stuff going on underneath the surface because we are bookended by eclipses in 2023 as well. I don't feel like this is an explosive energy, even though algal is triggered or aspected with the new moon. I do feel like there's more uprising energy with this, so we might see a lot more protest type energy with this. Four of Swords is out, which can mean like you really do need to keep your self-care, self-nurture, self-soothing, as I said before, practices as a priority. And a card fell on the floor. Ace of Wands. So yes, move through this week. The answer might not come. Here's how I'm going to play it. An answer might come this week. The fruition of the answer might be at the back end, especially towards June and July. And then we have the South Node in Scorpio, and I'm trying to push through this with my voice. It has been tough, but I'm trying to push through it. The South Node in Scorpio, our psychological unconscious is getting rocked, and it's really getting helped by the fact that there's so much Taurus energy in the sky. It is journaling it out, writing it out, doing your art, body work, body care, whatever you can do to really take care of yourself is where you're going to help move this unconscious energy out of the South Node and up into the North Node energy. So I wrote this as almost like this is an ode to your past. What would past you need to do for you in the past? You're getting that second chance this week. And that's a really big lesson. And it's a lesson of making healthier decisions for yourself. And it's hard for me to see myself expanded. Because I'm literally looking at a very blown up version of, like, it's just this big picture of me. So I'm not used to seeing myself on camera this expanded, and it's kind of throwing me off. So I'm like talking to myself. What has your soul realized? What are you meant to do? What would past you say if you could really be your parent or big sibling, or, just somebody who's really supportive of somebody 20 years ago, if you're in that age bracket? Millennials, we're getting this as a generation. We're all getting this as a generation. If you're mid-80s, I'm talking to you. This is for you. This is a video for you. What would you say to yourself 20 years ago? How would you show up for yourself in a different way? This is really what these transits are asking. How would you be your own advocate here? Is somebody shortchanging you? Is somebody not respecting you? Are you not respecting you? How do you show up in a more holistic, I guess is the better sense of the way, more Queen of Cups? Or is she? More Queen of Cups fashion for yourself. So let me conclude. Let me do some final, and some things do gotta go. Some things do got to go. I'm gonna do 3. Ooh, I didn't even have her out. Oh my goodness. And the bottom card is the King of Swords. This could have been a representation of these eclipses, this little King of Swords right here. I do think this is also about that sun rolling on into to Gemini, because it is about moving that Mercury energy forward. We've got the Empress, and I did not have her as I usually have her on the table with me. The Empress is about self-care, self-value, self-respect. Empress. King of Pentacles, lots of Taurus energy in the sky. New moon, I feel this is the new moon energy. There is a financial element here. Finances are on the table, and 3 of Cups. Now this card did pop in reverse. I do have a feeling it's a reconnection with people from your past. This could even be friend groups. This feels very, very, very healthy. 3 of Cups, joy. It's a party over here. Re-upping the conversation. So I hope that this reading helps. It's going to be a big week. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be a big week. And you can find me on Trust Your Glitter. So this is Trust Your Glitter podcast. I'm also on YouTube, Substack. I will be doing a writing challenge at some point, but right now my writing challenge is actually a video challenge. So this is my current challenge that I'm doing for myself, is being on video and showing up for myself for that. So you can find me also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I'm on all the things, Christy Belich. I am posting my little clips from this podcast every single day as part of my video challenge, and just trying to highlight this podcast. So please, if you can, like and subscribe, drop some comments here. Let me know if this is helping. Let me know if you have any questions, because I'm just learning and growing from this whole project. And I definitely want to know, if you're watching, if this is helping you, what's going on in your life. And I really hope you enjoy this upcoming new moon in Taurus. It's going to be super, super beautiful. It's just a beautiful energy. So we've got a lot of good things on the way. So take care, enjoy, bye.